What's good, y'all? Thanks for tuning in today. Once again, it is Dad Beats. We are back again on another Sunday, and we have a very special episode for you today. We're going to be talking to the producer, Damahneee, about a really, really great situation he put together for himself regarding getting, basically getting a lot of spins on TikTok and doing the right things business-wise to make himself so far over $37,000, with just one beat. So, welcome everybody once again. I am Sight, and my illustrious co-host, the King O Caesar.
Oh, hold on, I'm chipping. How y'all doing? God bless everybody. I'm glad to be here, like always. Hope you guys having a great day.
All right, and my other illustrious co-host, the brother Lifted Noise. What's good?
What's good, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome, Damahneee, man. I came in kind of late, so it's good to see you. I'm interested to hear your story. So glory be to God, and let's get this going.
Absolutely. And once again, Mr. Damahneee, thanks for coming on today and agreeing to answer some questions. Appreciate having you on today, man.
No doubt, man. I'm glad to be here and ready to answer all the questions too, man. No doubt.
So we were talking a little earlier about how we got into wanting to do the pod with you today. And for those who don't know, on NPC Gang, the group we have with all the NPC users, we try to encourage each other and give each other information on different parts of the game, obviously using the equipment and things like that. But Damahneee came in and posted something that got a whole lot of eyes, a whole lot of traction. And it was about, well, let me see if I can just pull it up on screen, because I think it kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I love emails like that.
Yeah.
Yep. That was the first one.
The first one came in. Well, that was the second one, right? Because you said the first one was
one of the first ones.
Oh man, I got
10,000.
The first one was 10,000. The second one was $7,745. So that was a few months back, and that was a total of $17,000 that came in at that time. And the post went nuts, man. So we didn't have the podcast at that time, but you recently posted another one, and this one was you received your Q2 royalty. Now Q2 is second quarter of the year.
Second quarter. Yep.
And that was, if you guys can see it on the screen, $20,882.48. So between those two, you're talking about, man, yeah, you're talking about $37,000 all from one beat. And that's pretty impressive, bro. First of all, congratulations. Let's clap it up.
Thanks, man.
Love
no doubt. Appreciate it.
I swear we need one of them buttons, the applaud button.
Right.
We need one of them.
It's called an NPC.
We all got NPCs.
Yeah, I got
that happen.
Let's use them, right?
But yeah, man, congratulations on that. Everybody who saw it was really excited, and there was a whole lot of questions that came in. So we're going to try to address some of those. So you guys in the chat who have questions about how this man pulled this off, definitely leave your questions in the chat. We're going to get to them, throughout the show. We have a couple of them to get started. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it, man. Number one question I had was, how long have you actually been producing and, just making music?
I started producing in 1994. I'm originally from Flint, Michigan, but my mom. Yeah, are you from Flint?
No, I'm my boy from Flint, but I'm right here in Grand Rapids, man.
That's right next door, right?
Right next door.
So,
okay.
My mom moved to Detroit in 1983, and ever since then, I had been in Detroit. So I actually started producing in 1994. I got me like this little tape deck, and I was sampling music off the radio, putting it on the tape deck, and I was like, this don't sound like what I hear on the radio. So then I said, okay, I'm gonna go to school for sound engineering. And it was, I don't know if it's still there, but it was a school called the Golden Disc where you could go learn sound engineering at. And I went there and I wasn't successful because the teacher, I don't know if y'all remember Mel Farr, used to be a football player out there, but he used to sell cars too. So my teacher was the guy that actually did Mel Farr's commercial jingles, right? So when I went to the school, this guy, he wasn't teaching us music theory. So I dropped out of school. I left, but I kept my books and I would read my books. So what I did one day, I got bold. I said, I called this recording studio which was it was called United Sound Recording Studios, which is over there on 2nd and Antoinette in Detroit, Michigan, right by the old Ford Motor Company building, right around the corner from it. So I called them. This was 1994, and I said, "Hey, look, man, this is before I was Damahneee. My real name is Damon. You know, it's just Damahneee is the derivative of what my mom gave me, right?" So I called the guy and said, "Hey, look, man, my name's Damon. I used to go to this school. They didn't really teach me anything, and I was wondering if I could just come to your studio and be a gopher. You ain't got to pay me or nothing, right?" So he said, "Yeah, come on." And I was surprised because when I got there, it was students there who were interning from college. You know, some white kids was there, and they was asking me, "What college are you from?" I'm like, "I didn't go to college. I just called up here and asked them, could I gopher in the studio?" And they was kind of hot about that, but the guy I never forget, it was a guy named Charles, man. If anybody know anything about the history of that recording studio, that's where George Clinton recorded all his music at. Anita Baker recorded the Rapture album there. Red Hot Chili Peppers recorded their first album there. So the first thing he told me to do, I'll never forget. My first job in the studio was to go clean up the basement. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you.
Yeah.
He wanted to see if I was gonna stick around. The basement looked like shit. But when I went down there, I saw all George Clinton old masters. I saw old envelopes that George Clinton had sent. I even found an old pack of weed papers that was in one of George Clinton masters. And I actually reached out to George Clinton like about 5 or 6 years ago and told him he was on Twitter. And he was tripping because I found one of his old pack of papers. But long story short, that's where I began at. So my man started teaching me sound engineering, right? And I learned track 1. It was like in that particular studio, it was a 48 track studio. So when I learned track 1, I pretty much learned all of the tracks, and I got bored real quick. But behind me was the MPC 60, right? So I asked Charles, I said, "Yo, what's this?" And he was like, "This is a drum machine." So I started pressing the pads, and all this beautiful music was coming out. And now here's the thing. At that time, Charles told me that was Chauncey's sampler. Chauncey at that time was Jay Dilla, all right? So I didn't know I was fucking around on Jay Dilla's drum machine that was in that studio. So when I was punching the pads, I just kept hearing these dope-ass samples come out. I said, "Yo, man, what is this thing?" He said, "It's an MPC 60 drum machine." I left it alone. I started realizing, I was like, I don't really want to be an engineer anymore. I want to play with this drum machine, right? So from that point, I went to Guitar Center. I got me a SP303, which is like, you know, it's what I would call a beginner sampler for the cats who couldn't afford a drum machine like an MPC at that time. And that's where I started to pick up the craft of how to chop up samples. At that time, I wasn't really adding drums because the SP303 didn't have drums included, and I wasn't smart enough to sample drums yet. Remember, I'm trying to be an engineer just to get to know music. So once I started, chopping up the samples, I realized, I said, okay, this is what I want to do. And then I let a bunch of years go by. I think I left music alone for a while and just, got to doing the work thing. But in 2008, I was actually living in El Paso, Texas. And a guy had a drum machine for sale at a pawn shop in New Mexico, right? So it was an MPC 2000 XL. And I went and bought it. It was like $300. From there, that's when I started to really grow in making beats. And at that time, I started, enhance on my craft. But at that time, I didn't realize it was I knew it was a business behind it, but I didn't know how to intertwine the business with me just making beats. So my friend, whose name is John, was going to college to be a sports entertainer, right? And he told me, he said, "Look, D, it's this book that they make us study because they for the guys that was doing sports entertainment to be lawyers, they made them study this book called This Business of Music. Even though they were going to be sports entertainers, they still made them study this book." So he told me, he said, "Look, D, you need to know the business side of this shit." So I went to B. Dalton, and let me tell you something. That book, I think, was like $100. That was the best $100 I ever spent, because that's how I was able to get to know publishing. That's why I still retain 100% of my publishing and my writers. That's how I knew to sign up with BMI, because that book showed me the game on a business level. You know, I mean, making beats and learning how to make beats, that's something that somebody can show you, but it's a rare person that's going to show you the laws and what contracts what to sign and what contracts what not to sign, you know. And that's why I learned that my work will never be a work made for hire. And if you out there and you sign a work made for hire contracts, don't do it. It's just like if I hire a painter to come in here and paint my walls, that's a work made for hire contract. That means that the paint is already here. I'm hiring you just to throw the paint on the walls, right? So that's what cats need to understand. Don't sign your music away by way of a work made for hire contract, because that's what the record companies in the 90s was doing. Like a lot of the rappers we fell in love with, loving their music, do not own their masters. A lot of them don't even get
that's what a lot of guys,
because they
back in the day, that was really a contract made for session players, right? So if you know, back in the day of bands, when you know, say Quincy Jones or somebody is producing the track and you were a dope guitar player, he would call you up, you would come in, you would play a guitar part, and you would sign one of those contracts. It basically means the production is not yours. You're just here to play a part in the production, but it's owned by the producer or owned by the songwriter. So basically they wrote it, you're just in there kind of performing a part. So that's pretty much what that contract is. And what you're saying is stay away from those at all costs, pretty much.
Because here's the thing about the work made for hire contract. I can tell you come in the studio and make me a dog ass beat. And then if you sign a work made for hire contract, I don't even have to give you credit. I don't even have to say Dr. Dre produced this. I can say this is my beat. So I stayed away from work from hire contract. So that's why you see two separate fees. I mean, or two separate payments on there. One payment they gave me the $17,000 and some change. That's because I own 100% of writers. The other payment is the publishing. That's where you saw the $20,000 and some change. So the reason why I put both those up there is because I want the brothers and the sisters to know that when you retain both rights, it's like you get double paid for doing something once. You know what I'm saying? So it's very smart for you to hold on to your publishing. I don't care what nobody says. I mean, if you want to do an administrative deal, you want to give 15% out for somebody to collect, okay. But as far as you just signing over your publishing, don't do it. That's why you saw me get 20 more thousand for something that I already did. That Distrokid actually paid me for the streaming. They paid for the streaming. They paid for the downloads of that song. Song Trust only collects publishing. They collected the mechanicals. They went to TikTok and said, okay, this song was used in umpteen thousand videos. You owe Damahneee mechanical rights for this video.
Publishing company of Damahneee. It's technically a separate entity, right?
Well, yeah. The name of my publishing is Deaf Dreams Publishing. So if you go on Distrokid, or you go on YouTube and you click on one of my videos and you scroll down to the bottom, it's gonna have the little P with the circle around it, and it's gonna say Deaf Dreams Publishing. That lets you know that that's being published by me.
Oh no, we lost him.
Yeah, I think we lost him.
All right, let me send him another invite. Man, it was just getting juicy.
I know. We was just about to get it. We was just about to get into the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, man. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Sorry for the delay.
I had my knife out and everything. I was about to slice into some content over here. How y'all doing though? Like today?
We're doing good. Same here, man. I'm just got him back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So
all right, let's get you back in here, Damahneee. Yeah,
you lost us, man. We was over here drilling. We thought we
me too. I was like, oh, I'm giving out the gems, and then they gonna cut me off.
It's too much.
Yeah. But yeah, you were saying with your publishing company, that you were saying the circle, the P with the circle around it was showing that it's published. That's your company that's published under.
Exactly. That goes to show you that it's copywritten by me. So that goes to show you that if you own 100%, now I'm signed with BMI, but here's the thing: BMI does not collect royalties for your streams. They collect royalties for radio play, movie plays, and TV plays, right?
Okay.
Distrokid collects your streaming royalties. Okay. So believe it or not, BMI has not paid me a thing unless somebody uses that song in a TV, a sitcom, or a movie or something like that. Then I'll see royalties from them. But
So traditional media. Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that. So ASCAP, BMI, those types of PROs, they're basically collecting in traditional media, which is kind of like the you don't want to call it old school, but it's traditional stuff.
That's
movies, radio.
But that's what
play,
it is. It's old school because before we had streaming and downloads, BMI was collecting everything. And now instead of BMI switching over, they say, okay, we're gonna stick to what we've been doing. If a song is being used in a video, a commercial, the radio, we'll collect for that. And then we'll leave the rest, we'll leave that new stuff to the new guys. And the new guys, meaning like your distro kids, your CD babies, the ones that or TuneCore, the ones that actually gonna collect your streaming royalties, Spotify, all those guys, you know what I'm saying? So the reason why it's important to retain. Now, most guys are signed with ASCAP. When I first signed up with BMI, I was broke. I was just beginning. I forgot what punk ass job I was working, but I know they only charged me like $150 for to sign up for the publishing. Hey. Now, to sign up with BMI as a writer is free. I don't know if it's free anymore, but at that time when I signed up, I think this was back in 2000. It was free to sign up as a writer, and back then you had to get them $150 in order to start your publishing. So I said, you know what? And I'm so glad I did that back then too. I said, you know what? I better get them $150 now because I never know what my publishing will do for me. So that $150 that I gave them 20 years ago, I was able to profit and benefit 40,000 20 years later. So that's what I say. You never know when it's gonna pop. Most guys think, oh, this guy just must start making beats 2 or 3 years ago. Like, no, I've been in this game over 20 years, man. And it was refreshing because let me tell you something. When Distrokid, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. When Distrokid first sent me that email, I said, "Oh, this can't be right." I checked my bank on Distrokid. It said 17,700. I said, I know they about to come back and take this in a couple of days. I'm just waiting on an email from Distrokid saying, "Oh, Damahneee, we made a mistake. Sorry, we sent you 17,000 by mistake." But then Spotify started sending me notifications like, "Oh, you got 500 new listeners." I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I looked at Spotify and said, "Oh shit, this song is blowing up." But what it was, they started. The song was already like a year and a half old. So I just forgot about. I made the beat, published it, and forgot about it. I was making other beats and other CDs, right? And when I saw that was the one gaining traction, I said, well, why is it gaining traction? I looked on TikTok, people were using the songs to like quit their job. It was in the background. I saw one girl, she had a restaurant job. She quit her job on like the, guy on the intercom and shit and quit her job. Had my beat playing in the background. So I said, crazy. Oh, okay. So, and the song was used in over 8,000 videos. So I checked a couple of them. Like one video I looked at, I said, damn, this song was used in this one guy's video 90,000 times. So, I couldn't check 8,000 videos, but just seeing his video, knowing that the track was used 90,000 times, I said, okay, I know that's some money coming to me. I didn't think it was going to be this much, but
and just so the audience knows, with it. Just so the audience knows, the song, what was the song called again?
Because that's why I was called "I Quit My Job Today." It's called "I Quit My Job Today" by Damahneee.
So I haven't heard it. Is it a whole song or is it a beat?
Bro, it's all instrumental. It's not even lyrics on there. It's no hook. Oh, okay. It's just an instrumental. So
you don't got nothing.
I hit a lick because
you don't got nothing on there saying like this job. You know what I'm saying? Like no sample on there.
Nothing. Nothing.
It's literally just a beat.
It's the
just
only
the title
on there. I'm trying to even remember if my beat tag is on there. I think my beat tag is on there saying Damahneee. That might be it. But it's no lyrics on there, bro. That's why I was surprised that song generated that much money with no lyrics. That's why I go to tell the brother. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to cut you off. But I was
no. Go ahead, bro.
Like my question for you is like, where did you place the beat? Did you because you obviously you didn't put it on TikTok, so did you put it on like YouTube or did you put it or you just published it like through your publishing company or through Distrokid? So
Exactly, through
how'd you
DistroKid.
do it?
This is what I do when I make a beat. This is my format. I make a beat. I try to get the drum sound decent enough because I don't master my beats either, because I'm like, if a guy is gonna use the song, they're gonna end up mastering it when they done with it anyway. So I make a beat, I put my beat tag on it, I upload it to my computer. Well, first I change it to an MP3 format on my MPC Live and standalone, right?
Okay.
And then once I upload it to my computer, it's uploaded as an MP3 file, and I save it in the music category in my computer. Then I go to DistroKid. DistroKid is going to ask me, oh, what tracks do you want to upload? Then you just upload your tracks, and from there, DistroKid is going to put that song on everywhere, pretty much iTunes, TikTok, Amazon, anywhere where there's digital music being downloaded. DistroKid is going to upload it to those platforms. And what happened was a lot, because of that pandemic in 2020, everybody was quitting their job. So
yeah.
one person used it, another person used it. Before you know it, it got. I don't think it got like seriously viral because it's not in the millions. I've seen people's songs like get 11 million plays. I'm like, whoa, but it did go. What I would say, a little viral because for the people that did quit their job. Go ahead.
Do you know the statistic on how many times your video was played or your beat was used? You said something like 90,000, right? So
no, that was one guy had a video. One guy had a video, and on his TikTok it was 90,000 plays. But TikTok itself, 8,000 different people use that song in their videos. And out of those 8,000 different people, you might have one guy that had 50,000 views, another person with 900 views, another person with 25,000 views. And TikTok added all that shit up, and they cut the check.
It's possibly 1 million views then amidst all those 8,000 people.
Yeah, because one guy had 90,000. You keep going and going. It'll hit a million easy.
I don't want to interrupt, but just to let the chat know, if you guys are watching, if you can, please hit that like button if you're getting some value out of this information. We jumped on it quickly because we want everybody in the community to be educated on these things, and we try to bring as much value as we can. So I didn't want to interrupt everything, but if you guys can hit the like button, it'll be huge for us because it does let people know that we're live and kind of gets us out there in the algorithm. So I just want to jump in and say that. Go ahead, y'all.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was just curious about.
Another thing I wanted to tell everybody too.
Go ahead, Damahneee.
Go ahead.
No, keep going.
I wanted to tell everybody this too, because I don't live in America anymore. So I live in Medellin, Colombia, and that's where Pablo Escobar did his thing out here. So what I want to tell people about that is that when you make music outside of America, you're gonna get more royalties because it's a BMI in London, it's a BMI in Spain, it's a BMI in Colombia. So the BMI in America is not the only one collecting royalties from you. I got, who is that? Somebody, damn, I can't remember their name, man. Sound something. I forgot, man. I want to apologize. I'm actually registered with a lot of people in order to get royalties. But what is that shit? Damn. It's called Sound something, man. Forgive me for not remembering. But these are the guys that actually collect your royalties worldwide, right? Because if your song is being played in Japan, you're not gonna know. So what happens is this particular royalty company says, oh, you played Damahnee's song in Japan. Damahnee's based out of Colombia. So that's how you start to get those international royalties too, because you still own or retain 100% of your publishing right. So publishing is very, very important to any beat maker / producer or whatever y'all want to call yourself nowadays. Keep your publishing. That is the most important thing you can do, because 15, 20 years from now, somebody want to use your song and give you $1 million for it. But I'm about to put y'all up on the real game too. Some of y'all might know, but NFT is the new thing out here too. I don't know if y'all are aware about that, but a lot of people making beats are turning their beats into NFTs.
Yeah.
And what that stands for is non-fungible tokens. All right, this the new shit, y'all. Get up on it. Don't
we got an episode coming
believe
up with that too. Shout out to the homie God Cloud. We're gonna get him on here to talk about that. I've been planning on that for a little bit,
sir.
but yeah, it's definitely hot in the community, and we need to be educated on it.
Is the platforms that you're talking about called SoundScan or Sound Exchange? Because we got that in the
Sound
chat.
Exchange.
Somebody in the chat.
Sound Exchange. That's what it is. Sound Exchange.
So that's
Yes,
the
sir.
worldwide one.
Yes,
That's
sir.
the one that
Shout out to
publish your music worldwide.
Yes, sir.
They'll keep track
And
of
good
that
looking
stuff.
for looking it up for me, bro. I'm so registered with so many people I can't even keep up. But I know Sound Exchange collects my royalties all over the world because basically they're just like BMI, but you got to realize it's the BMI in every country. It's not just the BMI in New York and the one down in I forgot. I think it's Tennessee, but it's those aren't the only BMIs. They have them worldwide because remember, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is played in Japan. It's played in Colombia. It's played all over the world. So who's collecting those international royalties? It would be people like Sound Exchange and the BMIs of those countries and nations. So don't think that your royalties check simply stops in America. If you being downloaded in Japan, you made money in Japan too. So stay on that publishing to get those royalties. But I know y'all going on that NFT thing on the next couple of shows, but I want to tell everybody right now, get up on that. That's something I'm about to embark in because what it is basically like I only made one song rapping before. I made a song called Ball Out, right? This is when I was fresh into producing, and I wanted to get the guys from Detroit to sign on my label, right? But nobody was signed on my label. So what I did, I wrote a song called Ball Out. And I wanted to show everybody like, yo, I can get y'all digital. Now, this was back in 2001. I wanted to show everybody like, yo, I can get you digital distribution, just sign with me. And of course, nobody signed with me. So that was my venture off into, producing even more. But the new thing right now is where you're going to be making music, and instead of everybody having the rights to this song, you're going to make the song an NFT to where you'll sell this like song. Like maybe you say, I'm going to make 10 tokens of this song, but I'm going to sell each token for $5,000. And whoever buy those tokens are the only persons or people that actually own that particular song. So I just want to put everybody up on game because I'm going to start stepping on some toes with that too, Yeah. But
and when you say you can sell the rights to the song, right? Is that pretty much how it works? Like you can split the rights up.
Using kind of sharing your royalties, then, right?
Bro, y'all nailing it right now. This what you can do. Like you can the way they have it set up to like say if I make a track, I make a beat today, right? And I turn into an NFT. I can sell that beat for $1 million, and it'll only be one person that owns that beat. And inside of that NFT, I can say, okay, look, you actually own 50% of the publishing to this beat as well, right? But here's the icing on the cake. If that person that buys that NFT for $1 million from you, there's a thing on the site where it says that every time that NFT sells, you can collect 10, 20, or 30% of the residual income that the person who originally bought it from you, whoever they sell it to, you can get 30% off of that. So every time the NFT sells, you'll still get money off of it, right?
So you're getting a percentage off every transaction in the future. That every time it's sold, you get a percentage of each sale in the future.
Yes, sir. And plus, and guess what? You can still decide to retain 100% of the royalties, or you can say the person that's going to buy this, I'm going to give them 50% of the royalties, right? So, like, say if I make a song, and I'm actually getting ready to do a gospel album, but if I make a song, I'm going to put it on it as an NFT. And I'm going to sell it for like 500,000, but I'm only going to make one token of that NFT. Like it's like basically, guys, the NFT is a collectible.
Right.
Michael Jordan's card with North Carolina is a collectible. Not too many people have that, but everybody probably wants it. That's what NFTs are doing with music right now. It's just like when Wu-Tang and them sold that album for $2 million, and that's the only album it is. Yeah. That's a fucking collectible. So
well, they
that's
do
what
a
the
lot of
NFT
stuff
game.
with NFTs. Like NFTs, they use that for art, all type of stuff too. Like it's like
Yes,
people
sir.
make digital art.
We're gonna get into
I-
it definitely.
Yeah.
'Cause I think NFTs are definitely the future. Go ahead, Raul. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, not at all, man. We won't go into it. I've heard some crazy stories about the art world and NFTs. So that'll be
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a
But
lot. You said we're having a dude come on. He
Yeah,
must specialize in NFTs then.
Yeah, the homie
Stuff
God
like
Cloud.
that.
He's a
Nice.
producer, dope finger drummer, and I think he was the first finger drummer to put out an NFT with finger
okay.
drum and stuff. So really dope
Nice.
dude. You know, he's very active in the community and he's very eager to share the information. So we're definitely gonna get him on in the future. So definitely, and you know, I'm gonna check back in with you, Damahneee, when you start getting into the NFTs and see what your progress is too. We definitely want to check in with you
Oh,
on that.
When I make some money off that, y'all gonna be the first to get the post.
Now
Word.
getting
But yeah,
back, getting back to the distro to
go ahead.
like the publishing and stuff like that. Like you said that you're signed up through multiple. So how many different accounts do you have as far as your publishing and stuff like that? Because you say you got the trust, the sound trust, and then you got Distrokid, and you got like how many do you have? And like which
I think
ones are
about
working the best for you?
a total of 4.
Total of 4?
Yeah, Distrokid, Song Trust, Sound Exchange, and BMI. Well, we all know Song Trust is definitely working. Distrokid is definitely working, but let me tell you why they're working, because they're the newer guys on the block. They're the ones that's actually collecting royalties from streaming sites and downloads. BMI does not do that. Although, I want to tell the brothers and the sisters, don't discourage from signing with BMI, because you never know. Somebody might take your track and put it in a video or use it in a movie. You never know. So make sure you do sign up with those guys. Make sure you do sign up with Sound Exchange, Distrokid, because the reason why I put those numbers up on the website, because I look at brothers, man. I look at them making their beats. I look at them, asking themselves, do I got the right equipment? Only drum machine I got over here right now is the MPC Live. That's it.
And that was an interesting point, because you said you went straight from the MPC Live to an MP3 and uploaded it directly to the site. So you did the mix and everything in the MPC standalone.
Yeah, I do all my mixes in my MP3, because what I do is, like, when most guys make beats, what I do is I actually make 4 or 5 sequences in my track. So that's what make my mix sound so good. Instead of just, I know that some guys when they playing with their MPC, they'll keep hitting the play button to make it seem like that's their intro, the boom, ba boom, ba boom, and they keep hitting the play button all those times. Well, what I do, I just make my first sequence boom, ba boom, ba boom. The second sequence is boom, ba clap, a boom clap. The third sequence is boom, boom, boom clap, to switch it up a little bit, right? And it might have a chorus or something in there. The fourth sequence might be something like where I just take the drums out and let the rhythm rock or the sample rock, right? And then
so you're working song mode for the most part. You're working the song mode. You're using song mode the way it's supposed to be used.
Oh yeah, yes.
To arrange, and you get a lot of complaints like, oh, we need an arranger mode. And
we do need an arranger mode. I'm one of them new school dudes that need an arranger mode.
Let's talk about need for a second. Baby. Let's talk about need, right?
Look, man, don't get on me, man.
This man is telling you he made over $37,000 in a year, going straight from his MPC in 2 months. It's Q2, right? So you know what I'm saying, like
quarter to quarter,
straight from his MPC to the internet. Now, what he's illustrating, and this is a point I try to make to guys all the time, is that we got to get out of that mindset of we need these Hollywood movie level plugins. And I'm not saying that stuff is bad. It definitely helps the quality. But as you can see, it's direct to consumer now. So when somebody's making a viral video with your beat, they're picking the beat. I mean, he's explaining based on the name. And of course, if the beat was, they wasn't feeling it, they wouldn't use it. So it has to have quality in the sense of make sense. But the point is the level of quality that you need to make it to like a Hollywood film where you would get maybe an ASCAP or a BMI check is different than what you need for a social media check. So I think people need to look at that. Like what do you really need to just publish to something that's going to be direct to consumer, and being that people are using these, using these social media platforms, and they're just picking the best music that maybe matches with the content that they're making, and also they're going by the title, right? So a creative title seems like a win, based on what you're saying, Damahneee. A decent mixed beat. It doesn't have to be super mastered or anything. And getting your administrative stuff in a row, which is, like you said, Song Trust, SoundScan. Was it SoundScan was one of them? Sound Exchange was one of them.
Sound Exchange and then Sound Trust. Sound Trust. Yep.
So getting your administrative stuff done, creative title, which is huge. And that's not a surprise to me, because in the YouTube space, we talk about SEO a lot, which is search engine optimization. And that's literally picking titles and words and phrases inside your video and your description of your video that people are looking for, right? So for you guys who aren't familiar with search engine optimization, that's all it is. It's finding the phrases and using certain programs to find the phrases that people are looking for. Now, Damahneee stumbled on one, which is dope, but you can also kind of find different programs that will help you find what people are searching for the most. And when
which
people
one did you use?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
Damahneee, did you use an actual search engine, or did you just pick that name out the blue?
I pick all my songs is named on how I'm feeling after I make it.
That's how I do mine too.
And that one. And the funny thing that I never even quit no job. I was too broke to quit a damn job. I'm like, but when I make so much music, I'm like, man, if I could quit my job today, so that's why I named that track I Quit My Job Today, when actually I didn't, But what it was during the pandemic,
it was a different style for you too, right? Like you said, it was more of a pop style that you normally don't do.
Here's the thing: the reason why I said I called that track I Quit My Job Today is because usually when somebody quits their job, they're in a transitional type of mood. They first they got this little mad mood because they quit, but then they have a inspiration side to them too. Like, what's next? What's going to be next for me? I just quit this punk ass job, so I'm looking for something better now. So you usually feel good and you usually feel bad, right? So if you listen to the track, it's a pop tune. I mean, real talk. If you think about it, it's something that kind of uplifts you when you do quit your job. And for the record, y'all, that was a Splice sample.
Yeah,
that was a Splice sample. I made 40K off some shit that wasn't.
You just made a lot of people mad, man. They just,
I know, bro. That's why I told them.
They mad now, bro.
All I did was add drums. Oh, like you get the Kool-Aid and you just put the sugar with it.
You just put the sugar on it.
So all the fuck I did, man.
40 grand.
40 grand, bro.
I'm still gonna play devil's advocate with Sight though, because we still need an arranger, man. I hear everything you said was completely 100% true.
Let me tell you,
still need a ranger.
We still need a ranger.
Realize how powerful. Hear me out. Realize how powerful your sequencer is in the MPC. That's what made MPC one of the greatest machines in the 90s, bro, because everybody was you could take this sound out, you could add this sound in just by way of sequencing, and the transition is smooth. You don't hear no clips, you don't hear no gaps, you don't hear any of that when you do your sequence, And I listen to some guys' beats, I can tell. I'm like, all right, that's the dog beat, but I can tell he's not using the sequencer to the fullest. Like, you might want to take some drums out, you might want to just let the hi-hats roll and take the kick out. You might want to just take the bass line out, let the hi-hats and the Tims roll with the sample, right? So all that sounds smooth when you're using your sequencer. Like sequence 1 could just be like the intro to your song and maybe your beat tag, your beat name drop, right? Sequence 2 is like what you do in sequence 2, you mute your beat tag, you mute the intro, and then have your, what the song is gonna be like in sequence 2. And all it does is just smooth transition. Now, on that particular song, is really not a lot of sequencing going on. But if you listen to some of my other beats, I mix them all down before I send them out because I don't want it just to sound so repetitive, even though some of them do. But when you kind of drop the drums out, kind of take the sample out, just let the drums roll, it just gives a little different flavor sometimes, or it gives the rapper a little room to, showcase something. He might showcase a funky bar or a funky metaphor he might say when the drums have disappeared during that particular, sequence,
Well,
So
I told you guys are 100% right, but we need an arranger mode just because the
Well,
Force got
well,
one.
since you're
The
gonna,
Force, the
since you're
Force got
gonna,
one. The
you
Force
really
got
hitting
one.
that
We
point.
deserve one. Yeah,
Well,
because
so
they should have never got
question
one
for you.
before we got one. I'm
Well,
just mad. I'm mad at the
I'm
guy.
curious, King of Caesar. Have
Hey,
you not done any arranging in the MPC? Do you like
I
just
have.
set it up?
I got multiple beats that I've done. Like I can use song mode. It's just the fact that, like I said, where I come from is the DAW world. So
Yeah,
I'm used to an arranger. You know what I'm saying? And I
well,
feel
but
like I can move faster with
yeah,
arranging.
let me
I still for most of my beats, I still track them out and put them in like Logic Pro or like Pro Tools or something like that. I still do that to this day.
let
Like
me tell you
you'll
something
rarely
though.
find me like arranging. Only time I arrange is like when I like have the MPC live with me and I'm away from like a computer. Then I
If you
arrange it like that.
if you use your song mode, like the way you use your song mode, use your sequencer like that, and I'm telling you, they're gonna turn. Because I use song mode. That's when I'm changing the song in the MP3. Song mode is basically it's just taking all the sequences that I created and smashing them together to make that song. So the real power is in your sequence. That's where you're gonna drop the drums at. That's where you're gonna like add like something that's not in sequence 2 and the sequence 3 and 4. Now song mode that's just what it is. It turns into a song. It basically runs your sequence 1 to 5 all together and create that one song. But song mode, you don't want to use that to drop drums. You really can't even drop drums and stuff like that in song mode. You want to do that when you using your sequencer. And then
Yeah.
when you're done with your sequence, say, okay, this sound good mixed like this. Now you press song mode and MP3 and then upload the computer and boom, there you go. And
Yeah,
I don't master none of my beats either because I'm like, if somebody's gonna take my beat and go to the studio, they gonna master the track anyway. So why even waste my time? But what I do, I try to make sure that the drums. Because remember, I went to school for sound engineering first before I got into production. So
yes.
what I try to do is make sure that the sound is gonna come through clear, whether it's on some headphones, whether it's on this big ass kicker I got over here, some or the little mini ear pods.
Yeah.
So that's where you want to make sure that your mix sounds good and not even good, just like decent. Because like I said, once the rapper is done rapping over your track, he gonna take it to go get it mastered anyway. So why do a double master? You know what I mean? It's just like and you save yourself money and time because when he's done with your track, he gonna go take it to go get mastered anyway. So every beat of mine that's been published, ain't none of them mastered, not one.
Well, see, I know how to use the song mode, and the song mode is good. I'm not saying that it's bad. It's just like I'm not as fast with it. Part of the thing that we talk about on this podcast is like being, and we haven't even asked you yet if you like, if you have kids and stuff like that. But like on brand,
No.
on brand, on brand, what we do though, it's like we try to navigate like doing the music producer stuff like with having kids. So it's like whatever I can do that's faster than me for me. And right now that's still the arranger, man. Because I
yeah,
can like literally just I can get so much done with the arranger and the like I said, setting up my sequences. Like I know how to set up my sequences and do it. Like I've made multiple beats, in the MPC and sequence them out. But like literally all I have to do is make one sequence, bounce that, and then I can arrange like quick. I
Yeah.
get all the stuff that I want, in that
That's a
one
lot
sequence,
of work.
and then I
Nobody's
bounce
that's
it.
what I'm saying. It sounds like more work,
It
than
is.
literally just making more sequences in your MPC and
yeah.
bouncing it out. But that's
Well,
not really.
I'm gonna make a video and show
No,
you.
let me
that's
hold
what
on, hold on.
I'm planning to.
I'm gonna give y'all my secret sauce, bro. Now you say that you use one sequence. I get that, but believe it or not, you're creating work for yourself. This is what I do. On the MPC, it's a copy and paste mode, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what I do is that first I'll make a beat and I have everything running on sequence 1. And what I'll do is I'll copy sequence 1 to sequence 2. But when I
Exactly.
copy it to sequence 2, I'll mute out the my beat tag. I'll mute out like the bass line that I started the track with. So now boom, there goes sequence 2. Now I'm gonna copy and paste sequence 2 into sequence 3. In
Right.
sequence 3, I'm gonna probably add something different in there. So I'm telling you, I know what you're saying. It does sound like convenient just to have that one sequence, but believe it or not, when it's time to say, hey man, drop them drums, you got to go all the way in, and it's too much. So if somebody tell me to drop the drum, I'm be like, okay, I know in sequence 4, I ain't got no drums in sequence 4, so boom, I can just turn the knob and go right to sequence 4, no drums, or no hi-hats.
I see, that's exactly how I do it. I think it just comes down to how people work. And King O Caesar, he may just be more visual. He may be more visual, so he's doing the same thing when it comes down to it. It sounds like, but he's using the visual to remove, because he knows where maybe the kicks are, the snares, and when he wants to take them out. And you may be doing it by ear, like how I do. But I do agree with the King O Caesar that having a arranger can be a lot faster, because I've been in that world. I've used Logic and I've done it, and I thought, yeah, it'd be cool to have that. But the song mode if you learn it, and it kind of pushes you to use your ears and kind of visualize it in your mind. But it is all the same thing, just different tools to get there. And I think people work differently. So it's just,
I think the key point is just to not let your tools or what you don't have keep you from publishing work, right? Because what I see more often than not is, and I'm guilty of this too. I tell people all the time, Standalone Soul as a body of work is it's my sample pack series, but it's literally the first pieces of music I've published and put out to the world in 20 years. And that's kind of embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I look at it, because I've got hundreds of beats on my MPC, and I've always found excuses why they weren't done. And really, realistically, I should be publishing them. And then people were like, oh, being an artist is good to be, take your time with your art. That's true. But it's also, when I think about what I'm losing out on here, and Damahneee doesn't have any kids, but for those of us who do have kids, we're talking about legacy here, right? When you do these publishing things that Damahneee did, when those checks, if something happens to you, Lord forbid, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're all young men here, but life happens, anything can happen. If something happens to you, those checks keep coming. Those checks, if people are still using your music, those checks keep coming. And it's like every beat that you put out there is kind of like a lottery ticket in a way, and it's not even as risky as a lottery, in a sense of, if you take the time and try to name your beats creatively, which is a lesson we're learning from this situation.
Definitely.
Naming them creatively, putting some thought and some effort into what kind of message you want the music to give, and then titling it, something that might be kind of viral at the time, right? Like, a lot of people were quitting their job. You might not have foreseen that, but now that that's how it works going forward, right? You can start naming your beats things that might be trending, right? Like, and kind of increase your chances of those. So, when we're talking about what we're trying to accomplish, I think the key lesson that I'm taking from this is that we should really be striving to publish more work. Get our ducks in a row, right? You're going to pay these fees to these companies like SoundTrust, Distrokid. You're going to pay these fees. Put them on there. You pay them one time. Put as many beats as you have out there. You can and I think what Damahnee's also saying is you can always remix it. If an artist wants one of your beats, you can always remix it for them. You can always get it remixed or remastered. But the fact is, you're putting it out there and you're giving your music a chance to win. And I think that for me, this is kind of like a reassurance. It's something that I've been feeling like I needed to do. But I think a lot of us in the community, we hold too much of our work. We've got hundreds, if not thousands of beats on a hard drive, and that isn't doing anything for us. It's just, yeah, that's all of us. I think, for the most part, all of us hold in too much work. And
look, I'm gonna drop a jewel on y'all. Y'all gonna love this right here. I'm about to gap ban you niggas. Drop the bomb on y'all. So dig it. Dig it. Now I want y'all to hear me out. I do not own my publishing. I do not own my writers. Let me tell you what I remember. I told y'all my buddy went to the school to be a sports attorney, but they had to read the music attorney laws too. So what I did was all my music is in a trust. Okay. Now, when you I'm the creator of the trust. My nephew is the beneficiary of the trust, which is my brother's son. Okay. So basically, when every time Damahneee makes a track, it goes into the trust. When Damahneee publishing something, it goes into the trust. I know niggas like, wait a minute, you don't own your publisher. I thought you just said you own your publisher. Here's the thing. I own my publishing. Now, here's what I learned from rich white people. Own nothing, control everything. Now, let me tell you how this intertwined into my music. And this because I was scared that somebody was gonna probably rip me off. So what I did was I put everything that I own inside a trust fund, because remember, this for the brothers with kids. I don't have kids, but my brothers got kids, right? So what I did was, I'm the creator of my trust. I'm out here in Colombia. I have a foreign trust. That means America can't touch it. They gave me but believe it or not, you got to register with America, so you get a 98 number, which is an EIN number. That means that your EIN number is tax-free. I don't pay taxes for my music because it goes directly into a trust. Hold on. My nephew is the beneficiary of this trust. That means if I die, if anything happens to me, he owns 100% of my publishing, 100% of my writing, because he's the beneficiary of my trust. I'm the creator of my trust. It's a girl that lives out here, that lives in Colombia. She's my trustee, and she's really from where's that city that Left Eye died at? Honduras. She's from Honduras, but she lives out here in Colombia. My nephew lives in America, but he's the beneficiary of the trust. So if you decide to make a trust, do not make yourself, you can't be the creator of the trust and you can't be the beneficiary of the trust. They won't even respect your trust. They won't give you a 98 number, which is your EI, your employee identification number. You won't be issued that from the United States because they won't look at your trust as it being a real trust. I usually keep this, as a secret, you know, but since y'all brought up that y'all got kids and you want to know, you know, how to kind of play that, create a trust and make your kids the beneficiary.
That's very powerful, man.
It's very powerful. It's because, like I told you, my boy was going to school to be an a sports lawyer, right? But he told me, he put me up on game. He said, this was a book we got to study, even though we ain't going to be doing nothing with music, but they make us study this book. And he said, yo, you need this book because you fuck with music. And like I said, that was the best $100 I ever spent at B. Dalton. All right? So.
And what was the name of the book again?
This Business of Music. But you got to realize they got a bunch of different versions out now. I bought mine back in 1995. Okay. So if you get the 1995 version, it drops more jewels in it than the new. It's like the newer they got, the more information they took out. I was like, wait a minute, my book, they not telling y'all some shit, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that. You think about it in the reverse, because like the new ones will have updated information, but looks like they're leaving some stuff out that's still valuable. That's good to know.
They leaving a lot of the new books wasn't even thick. Like my book was thick like a Bible. The new ones look like a little magazine or some shit. I was like, oh, they keeping a lot of shit out.
So we got to find the 1990, what, 1996?
You want the 1995 edition. The
1995.
Yes, sir. It's called This Business of Music. It's the 1995 edition, bro. Okay, now
I got this.
What is that? See how thin that is?
Plain and simple guide. It's plain and simple.
Yeah, okay. and you know why they say plain and simple? Because they took some jewels out that motherfucker. Remember, my buddy was going to school. This was like, he was in college for this shit. It was like mandatory that they had to study that book. Like I said, he didn't want nothing to do with music. He just wanted to be a sports attorney. But they made them study that particular book, and he came. I thank God he came to me with that book, because I got a lot of knowledge on it. But real talk, for the guys out there that's listening, y'all on here that got kids, if you worried about what's gonna happen to your music when you dead and gone, publish everything you making right now and create a trust and leave it to your son, your daughter, your grandmama, the neighbor down the street. I could have made anybody my beneficiary, but remember, I don't have kids. All I got is 2 French bulldogs here with me, right? so I can't leave it to them, right? So I said, damn, who am I gonna leave these royalties to when I'm dead and go? I said, my nephew, right? So believe it or not, my nephew is the richest motherfucker I know, because he actually owns all my music. He actually owns all my publishing. He actually owns all my writers, because when it narrowed down to it, and if I die and somebody go to court, all he gotta do is take one piece of paper saying, look, my uncle left me everything. Here's the trust fund right here. And he gonna have the EIN number to the trust fund, because what happens is, because I'm in Colombia, I created my trust out here, so it would be untouchable in America. So if somebody be like, "Oh, I'm gonna sue Damahneee," you know, even though I don't fuck with nobody's samples unless they clear, but just in case, you know, somebody say, "Oh, I'm gonna sue Damahneee because I don't like the shirt he got on today." Well, you can sue Damahneee, but Damahneee don't own shit. Damahneee controls the publishing. Damahneee controls the writers. My nephew owns the publishing. My nephew owns the writing. Because of that, I made him the beneficiary in the trust. So long story short, y'all, it's very easy. You create your own trust. You make anybody but yourself the beneficiary of that trust, and you good.
So that's very important. I'm glad, because like when we think about like the stuff that we're gonna leave our kids, we traditionally think of stuff like 401k, you know, like you know, health, life insurance, stuff like that. We don't really think about things like that, like, you know, like we're creating like royalties on music and stuff like that. So like I thought that was a great gem that you just dropped, because, you know, knowing that I can like leave that stuff for my kids, you know what I'm saying, if I do have some stuff pop off, you know, like you know.
And I think that's the angle that's kind of why, you know, I'm a lot of times in NPC gang, I'll say this stuff, you know, people will be like, "Oh yeah, you know, I haven't put nothing out," and I challenge them like, "Do it." And it's not like I'm better than, because I'm not doing it as much as I should either, you know, like I'm working on things and legacy for our kids, but a lot of us in the music space and creative types, we're always thinking like, "Oh man, you know, am I really benefiting my family by doing this thing that I love?" And I think this situation kind of illustrates that there's a lot of potential value on our hard drives, and it's not doing anything, but it's not wasting away. But if that hard drive crashed, that's a lot of potential value down the drain, right? So
we got to put everything out, is what you're saying.
I'm saying there's no reason not to, you know, other than think about it this way: if you put something out and it's whack, why do you care if somebody thinks it's whack? Like, right? So Damahneee was saying that's one of his most like hated beats. He didn't even like that beat like that.
Nope.
Is it your biggest earner?
Yeah, 40 grand off a beat with no rappers used it. Instrumental, it was used on TikTok, and like I said, that was a motherfucking Splice sample. All I did was add drums to that and publish it. Yeah, so man. I know it's guys. And let me put y'all up on game too. The new shit on Splice is like I try to upload an album. You know, I upload instrumentals every couple of months, right? So what it is, Splice is creating a race amongst us producers, because what's going on now is that when you try to upload through Distrokid is going to tell you, "Hey, this song has been used by another rapper or another artist," right? Because what Distrokid does, they have some kind of tracking device on all those Splice samples, right? So when you upload to Distrokid, Apple iTunes is going to send you an immediate message saying, "Oh, you can't use this track because the rapper down the street is using this track," and they tell you the name of his song and everything. So now, because the last time I tried to upload, I had like about 3 songs I couldn't upload because another producer beat me to the punch. And what I mean by that is that they uploaded the track before I did. So now I couldn't even upload. Now I could still upload it to my personal website, but as far as getting it on iTunes, Amazon, TikTok, wasn't gonna happen, because now Splice is what they're doing. They're creating a race amongst all us producers. So everybody's got a Splice account like me. If you find a good sample, you better hurry up and make a beat and publish that motherfucker quick, because the guy down the street from you probably got that same sample, and if he published it before you did, his beat is going to go up there first, and they're going to reject yours.
Let me ask you a question though. Like when you use the sample, did you use the whole sample or did you chop it? Because I think that only applies if you if you don't chop it, right?
No, if you use the sample and it's the same sample, like I said, they got some kind of detection on those Splice samples to where Apple iTunes know they're gonna be like, "Nope, this song has already been used," and blah blah blah. You can chop. I mean, well, if you chop it up and speed it up, different maybe, because that was a couple things that I haven't done to some of those Splice samples. the ones that I did use, I just ripped them for what they was. Like I took it off Splice, put some drums behind it, and published it.
Okay.
That was it.
And I think that's the content ID system, which is it's also active on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's basically there's just ways that these machines now are able to pick apart, you know, beats and
they're on they're on point two site. Like I mean, they're quick. Like we're not talking about days. We're talking about as soon as like I remember I uploaded a video, and like right when I was uploading it, they was like your part of your video is partially muted because you use this, and I got like a copyright claim.
And somebody in the chat was saying, play the beat, and that's why we can't play the beat. We'll get a copyright strike. Somebody handle his business. You know what I'm
saying? Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. If you know somebody, like say if y'all want to use my music, right? What happens is you have to let me know what video you're going to use in it, and YouTube's going to send me something saying, hey, Damahneee, these guys are using your song in their video on YouTube. And YouTube will give me the opportunity to whitelist it. Whitelisting means that, they can use the video, they good. No problem.
And that's through
Distrokid,
right?
YouTube. What happens is YouTube is going to send you an email saying, Damahneee, this person is using your track and their video. Do you want us to take it down or do you want to whitelist it? Whitelist means that you're going to say, hey, that person can use it. Great, no problem. But if you're not comfortable with them using your track, then you just, check off and say, no, I want that taken down. And guess what? Don't leave your beat up there. You're making money because you never know. I mean, I know it's fucked up that they didn't ask you, that they didn't get the permission from you first. But thank God that YouTube alerted you about it. So that's why I don't have beef with the content ID system thing. I'm cool with that because they basically letting me know that Damahneee is an opportunity for you to make money. Yeah, because this guy is using your beat, although his ass didn't ask you. we telling you that he using your beat. So you never know, the guy might go platinum. You get royalties off of it.
That's what I was just gonna say too, because I remember watching like a podcast, another podcast, and they was talking about like that where people are putting different people's music on there, and like most of the time the artist will let you will allow you to have it. Like I had a Doja Cat sample on mine. I can have it on there without having a copyright. I got a copyright claim, but it's not a copyright strike. So what they're doing is the song is still on my, or it's I partially muted it or took it out. I forgot what I did with YouTube. I got it taken out, but I could have kept the song on there, and Doja Cat would have received all like the money that I would have made from it. You know,
I got a remedy for that. I got a remedy for that. You can Dr. Dre that shit. And what I mean by that, Dr. Dre, if you notice, Dr. Dre used to use a lot of George Clinton samples. So niggas in Detroit, we was already hip to when Dr. Dre was coming out with shit. We like, that's George Clinton shit. But let me tell you what you do. Right.
I like how you said that.
So this how you do it, bro. Well, Dr. Dre, what he will do, and this where you might, this is where like Sight was saying, this where that work made for hire contract comes in at. Say if you got a sample, you want to use this sample, what you do is you have a musician come in and play the exact same bass line of your sample. You have a horn player come in and play the exact same rhythm that the horn is being played. The drums exactly, right? So now, if that's recorded in your studio, you actually own the master to that recording. So now you just saved yourself a couple $100,000 because now you ain't got to ask 4 or 5 people, can you use the master recording to use that sample? You just saved a couple $100,000. You ain't got to contact the record label.
You still got to pay the songwriting royalty.
Hold on, let me finish. You still have to pay mechanical rights because you're still sampling someone else's music. The point that I'm making is that once you have those musicians come in the studio and they play the sample exactly how the original sample is, you actually own that master recording. It's cheaper to pay out mechanical rights than to pay for master sample recordings. Trust me. All right. Dre been doing that shit for years. And that's how he made a lot of money off that, because he didn't have to pay George Clinton original record label for sampling.
Well, that's what JoJo did for herself. Yeah, I don't know if y'all familiar with JoJo.
The white girl.
Like,
I'm walking out for just a second, y'all. My bad. Give me just a minute. It's my son's birthday. We gotta sing happy birthday.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Dad beats. But no, JoJo, what she did was she is because she was having trouble with her record label. She couldn't get out of her deal and stuff like that, and they wouldn't let her out. So, like, what she did is she went independent and got like a new team, but then she re-recorded all her songs. You know what I'm saying? So then she put those songs out because she re-recorded them. She owns all the masters.
She owned the master recording. There you
know
go.
What I'm saying?
See?
So then she put out the same album. She put the same album that she put out that went like platinum back in the day. She re-released that in like 2018 or 2019. You know,
and
what I'm
collect
saying?
all the royalties in her pockets
for that. Now I don't know what she pays for, like, you know, like the songwriting, because obviously, like, whoever owned the original record that she had, because she didn't own the masters to that, the record company did. So I don't know like how that worked, like as far as like what she has to pay for that.
Mechanical royalties is equal to the songwriting, right? So the music itself. No, it's not.
No. The mechanical. Here's the thing. All three of us in the studio, right? We signed to a record label, right? We record one song with that record label, and then we leave their ass. Who owns the master recording?
The record label, yeah.
Right? But we do the JoJo and say, okay, look, we're going to go into the studio and do that exact same song over again. Now, the mechanical rights is what we would probably have to split with the record company, because we went in and did something that was already done.
Yeah.
Right? Now, we may own the master recording to the new one, but they might own the writers. If we didn't write the song, they might have 100% writing shares. So that's why we would have to pay out mechanical fees to them, because we're duplicating something that they wrote over and over again. That's how mechanical fees are created. But if all three of us wrote the song and we went to the studio and we did it on our own, we wouldn't have to pay them shit.
Okay. Yeah, I know it worked out for her, because she was able to like start touring and do all that stuff again, like, and make money, like, you know, through that stuff. And I guess the album still, because a lot of people wanted that album, they had actually took it down. You couldn't find it anywhere until she like re-released it.
Because she was probably suing the record company. Once an infringement is placed on a certain album, they got to take it off the shelf. And nowadays the shelf is the digital distributors, the Apple iTunes. They got to take it down, right? So when she went to the studio and redid it again, all she did was she basically put a bankroll in her pocket by simply going in there redoing what she already done, because she would be the controller of the master recording. It's like I said, if me and you, all three of us go in, let's say we redo Michael Jackson's Beat It, right? You know, the drum roll is the first thing to come on. Then the bass line, doom, 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 doom. If we go in the studio and we pay somebody to do the bass line, we pay somebody to do the drum roll, who owns that master recording? We do.
Marcus.
Now, believe it or not, we still have to pay mechanical fees, because we did not write doom, 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 doom. We didn't write the drum. We didn't write none of that. So we still would have to pay out mechanical fees. The reason why I brought that up is because Dr. Dre found a way to pay half when you're going to sample somebody. And when I mean half, like, he just knocked out the original record label. And those were usually the ones that would charge the most, because they owned the master recording, right?
Right.
So basically, if we went in the studio and we sample Michael Jackson's Beat It, who will we end up paying?
We'll end up paying whoever owns the masters to
we own the masters.
Oh, you're talking about when you re-record it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who was the original writer of Beat It?
You was Michael Jackson.
Who was the original producer? Who was the original producer?
When you re-record it, it's you, right?
No. The original producer.
I don't know who the original producer of Beat It is. So
Quincy Jones, right?
Yeah, Quincy.
who was it?
We would have Quincy
It was
Jones.
Quincy. It was Quincy Jones.
Yes, we would have to pay Quincy Jones mechanical fees because Quincy Jones originally produced that track. But we went in the studio and we redid it, which was a remake of that.
Yeah.
But we own the master recording to what we just did in the studio. We own that master recording. So if I sample something, I'm going to sample off our master recording. However, I'm still going to have to pay mechanical fees to Quincy Jones because he was the original.
Okay.
Here's a question for you. So you're talking about mechanical fees. Can you clarify that? Because one could assume you're still paying royalties, or is that like a one-time fee that you're paying?
Well, when you're sampling something, there's two people you got to pay. The original master recording owner, which is usually the record label, and the people that actually wrote the song. And that's why sometimes sampling can be very expensive because you might want to sample a song where 7 people wrote the song. That means you got to pay all 7 of those people to sample that song. So it's really nothing left for you, right? So that's why people go into the studio and they redo the song so they can knock out the record label of the master recording side. Because usually when you sample, you got to pay 2 people. The record label, who usually 99% of the time, they usually own the master recording, and the people who actually wrote and produced that song, right? So just like me, every time like that beat that I did called You Quit Your Job Today. Who owns the master recording to that? Me.
Yeah.
Because I did that in my home studio here. So if you wanted to sample that, you would have to come to me for the master recording, and you have to come to me for producing and writing because I wrote the drum program on there. There's no lyrics on the song, right? And the sample is a Splice sample, but it's a royalty-free sample, right? So you would have to come to me in order to get mechanicals to clear the song because you're going to be distributing the song to Apple iTunes, Amazon. That's where your mechanical sample clearance comes in, right? And the fact that you're if you take it directly off of what I made, like if you don't go in the studio and redo my drums, redo the Splice sample I use, that means that you're taking it from my original track. That means you're pulling it from my original recording, which is my original master recording. I mean, you got to pay me again.
Okay.
So the best way to sample is if the best way, the cheapest way is to go in, record the track on your own, replicate what you're hearing, and then sample what you just created in the studio. That way, you only got to pay one fee, which is going to be the mechanical fees, and that's going to be to the people that originally wrote the song, the people that originally produced the song, and the master recording. The record company always want a lot of money. They're like, "Oh, you want to record off what we created?" They always want a lot of money.
They want their money. Where can where can like is there a specific like link or something that people can go to because I keep seeing a lot of people in the chat talking about they want to hear this beat. Like we want to hear this beat.
Pull it up on pretty much anything. You can go to Facebook. I think Instagram. You can do a story, and then you can put it up using the story as well.
The quickest way, because I'm gonna share another story with you. I actually had the beat removed from YouTube, and the reason why I did that is because YouTube, like when you click on my name, another motherfucker's music was playing, and it pissed me off. I'm like, damn, this guy getting traction off my name, but it's his music playing. So because I own 100% of the publishing, I called. I sent a text to Distrokid and say, look, remove my songs from YouTube. They using my song, my face, my album cover to play another motherfucker's music. So they removed the song immediately. So you're not gonna find that song on YouTube. You can go to my website, www.damahneee.com, which is basically my name.com, and you'll hear the track there. It's not on YouTube, it's not on Facebook, or you go to TikTok and click on somebody's video.
Yeah.
You can go.
I see it on Instagram. I created a story, and then you can choose your music. You hit the little music button. and then I just typed in your name and it came up. So I know that's one way to do it. And
thank you, Distrokid.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's people got to realize, like a lot of these, social media, it's not just TikTok. All these social media platforms now have a stories mode. In the stories mode, you have the option to add music. So when you publish on Distrokid and things like that, it puts you in those as well if you choose. So
yes, sir.
It's just more ways to make money independently. So if you have beats sitting around that you don't really, maybe didn't sell or, haven't been earning money on the lease side, give it a create a creative name, and try publishing it, take a shot, because it's not, again, getting back to it, it's not making you any money on your hard drive. It's just wasted space, really, so publishing, this just kind of like winding down, publishing your own material is always going to be the best way to go in this current environment, which is it's direct to consumer. The quicker you can get your music to people who actually can use it, the better off you're going to be. And I think there are cases, a lot of people are trying to get placements and things like that, where it might be a conflict with that, where if you have something in the public domain already, maybe an artist might not want to use it. But as you guys know, with say a guy like Dilla, right? Before he passed away, he had Donuts, and then you hear guys, 5 years down the line using beats from Dilla's instrumental album on their albums. So it's not that you can't get placements if you have stuff published already. You definitely can. If the music is hot enough and an artist wants to get on it, you can always use it again. You know what I mean? How many times have people jumped on, there's certain beats that have been used like 30 times.
Yeah, man.
You know what
I'm saying?
So I think the moral of the story is, don't be scared to publish your work. Don't worry about not having the right equipment or, everything being perfect, because as this situation shows you, it's more about knowing how to operate, learning the part of the business that you need to know. And even that, Damahneee, I'm sure you learn as you went, right? Like, it's not like you knew all this stuff from the rip. You probably, kind of learned as you went, right?
Oh yeah, man. And like I said, you got to realize I would make beats. And I know how the brothers feel, man. You make a beat, like, what am I going to do with this? How do I get this to a rapper? I was glad when the CD Babies and the TuneCores and the Distrokids came out, because they gave us a platform. That's your platform right there, y'all. If you making beats and you letting that shit sit on your hard drive, shame on you.
Shame on me, for real.
You, because you basically got a bunch of checks that you refuse to cash. That's what your hard drive is with your music. You got a bunch of checks.
Noise a beat.
Man, cash them checks, bro. Because here's the thing: if somebody would have told me, Damahneee, you're gonna make 40,000 off this whack ass beat you just made, I would have never believed it. But I publish my beats anyway because I don't know what's gonna pop. And I gotta admit, I'm one of them cats that will say that is a beat that I never expected. I just spent mad time on other beats trying to perfect and make it sound good. That one particular beat, if you told me I was gonna make 40K off that shit in a 2-month period, I would have never believed you. 40K.
This is eye opening. It's time to get to work, or at least put the work that we've done already, because I've got Distrokid. I've had it for the last 2 years. Distrokid sponsored a video of mine, and I'm yet to use it.
I was about to say you did a very good video on that. You did a very in-depth.
Yeah, so yeah, shame on me over here, but I'm glad I'm hearing your story.
That's all of us, bro. And that's really, this is kind of like a call to action, for a lot of guys like us, and ladies as well, who have responsibilities. And you might be thinking like, man, how am I gonna put my kids through college? It's not saying every beat is gonna make 40 grand. It's the fact it could make 400. You know what I'm saying? But it also might make.
There you go.
400,000. You know what I'm saying? So you really don't know the fact.
There you go.
Yeah, it's potential. So I think the moral of the story is take advantage of the art you've already completed. If it's sitting there on your hard drive, use these platforms to your best advantage. You know what I'm saying? Do a little bit of research as far as how you can maximize it. I think Damahneee dropped a lot of jewels on this episode. You might want to rewatch it and just, write a couple things down as far as, some of what he did, and definitely that book. I mean, I know I'm copying. I know somebody in the audience already said they copped it in the chat. So educate yourself, y'all, definitely, and educate yourself as much as you can, but don't let something that you think you're missing keep you from publishing your work, because not publishing your work is literally keeping you from it might be, you might make $100 on something, but it might be that $100 you need to get that new SP that Lift the Noise wants.
Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. What's gonna happen too, man? While I was just sitting here just doing my thing, I got an email from Distrokid saying you have a deposit of 17,000. I said, this can't be right. And then when I looked, I said, oh shit, they started using my track. So the point that I'm trying to make, you never know. You think that the shit that's on your hard drive ain't popping, but another motherfucker might hear that and be like, damn, this beat hard than a motherfucker. So you need to publish that. You need to hear that. Nobody knows you're great until you published it. We didn't think the Mona Lisa was a great picture until Leonardo da Vinci published it, right? Yeah. You gotta put it out there. Nobody will know. I'm saying, but guys be sitting on Jews. I be in the NPC game room, like that beat he made is a dog ass beat. But I be sitting back thinking like, I hope he published it after he done with it.
This is the crazy thing, though. This is the crazy thing, though.
Dog ass beat and upload and let us hear it, and nobody else heard it.
But the thing is, you didn't sell anything here, you know, because people might have this mind frame like either they got to sell beats or write songs and get signed, but you didn't sell anything. It's this just your music just being played, streamed.
Here's my thing: the best thing you could do or want to do right now, because we're in a different age right now. You want to go viral on TikTok. It's like when we get off this chat, y'all just go to TikTok and look at them girls shaking their ass and look at the 11 million views they got and listen to the track. Whoever owned the publishing of that motherfucker is retiring. 11 million plays? Are you fucking kidding me, man? He gets a royalty. Look, let me help y'all out, bro. I don't think I even got a million plays, and I got 40 G's off that. What do you think a motherfucker got? They got 11 million plays. That nigga is into some millions.
Do you know specifically what the like royalty rate is for streams? Because I've seen charts for like YouTube and Spotify and all this, and it's like fractions of a cent.
Yes, bro, they ripping us off. I know for a fact Spotify gives me a quarter of a fucking penny.
I think they pay the least.
Stream my shit. They pay the least. The only one that's out paying the most is no Jay-Z shit. Tidal, he sold it though, but Tidal pays the most.
What was that?
I get
like a cent.
You know Tidal.
I know the number.
When I look at my royalty, I forgot the numbers, bro. But I know for a fact, out of everybody that pays me, Tidal pays the most. I forgot what the exact number is, and I don't want to just throw a number out there and lie to niggas. But Tidal pays the most. Spotify, YouTube, man, they actually take a penny and cut that bitch in pieces and pay us with that.
But I think real talk, bro. It's like the moral of the story with that is, don't even trip on the details, right? Because it's not like any of that's going to change. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Put it on everything, because it's not. We don't have the power to change it right now. But the fact is, wherever something goes viral or wherever something has a chance of going viral, they're always going to charge you more for using their platform if their platform is popping. So Tidal's able to pay more because I think they paid like double or maybe triple what the industry standard was, but they only had about like 8% or 10% of the traffic. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So you would need to get 10 times as many people on the platform in order to justify the difference. So I think the point of it is just get your music into one of these publishers, publishing organizations or websites, and just put it on as many platforms as you can. Because as artists, we're getting ripped off in a way, but I don't think anybody's going to be unhappy with $40,000 on something that, like you said, they didn't have to sell, right? You put it out there, you let the people, and this is the new digital economy. You put your work out there and you let the people decide what's hot. You no longer have to wait for somebody to tell you your stuff is hot. You let the people decide. And I think that's really the major key here, man, is having faith that your work is going to connect with someone. And that's, everybody here that has a YouTube channel, that's what we do, right? Like we make a video and it's not like we hope it goes viral, but we just hope it connects. And you never know which video is going to get more traffic than the next one. But the fact is we're coming on here every week, every few days, really putting out a video and rolling the dice with it. And this is just another way of monetizing content, YouTube. But it's the same premise. You put work out there, you let the people decide what's hot, and every once in a while you're gonna have a win. You don't know how much it's gonna be, but if it's on your hard drive, or in this case, where we're speaking, if this information's in our head, in our mind, it's not gonna do anybody any good. You know what I'm saying? So, on my camera, my batteries went down.
Your camera just went out. But Damahneee, what was the name of that book again that you said that you read?
The name of this book is called This Business of Music.
This Business of Music.
Remember
yes, I purchased now I don't remember what edition that was, but just Google the one from 1995. That's when I bought it.
So one more time, because I'm answering it for a person in the chat. I'm trying to go through the chat and what I'm saying.
No problem.
And answer some questions that we have in here.
This Business of Music.
This Business
now
of Music.
They have several different editions, but I noticed that the older one had all the contracts that fucked up all the rappers in the 90s is in that book.
Okay.
And when you learn contracts, you learn this business. You know what I mean? That's how I realized that publishing. I realized how important publishing was. I realized how important writers was. That's why I still retain all that shit to this day, because the reason why I posted those things in the NPC gang room is because I wanted the brothers and sisters to see, like, yo, this is for real. If you own your publishing, you will get paid twice for something that you did once. They could have just gave me my writers and said, okay, we gave him 17 and some change for the writers, but since this nigga owned his publishing, we got to pay his ass again.
Now,
so
my question,
retain your publishing.
So my question for you too is like, okay, so if they get the 1995 version, do you think they should still copy like a updated version of the book too, just so they can get some of the newer points and the newer?
Yes, sir.
Because it is different.
Sir.
Drastically different from 1995 to
you're not gonna have all that internet marketing and Distrokid stuff in there for
But you're right. But the thing about the one from the 1995 is that they were super focused on contracts.
Okay.
I know, like, ain't nobody gonna run shit on me. That's probably why I never got signed, because I knew not to sign half the shit that motherfuckers was giving everybody back in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? So that the 1995 version, you definitely want to copy, because it's gonna make you stronger as far as signing contracts. So when somebody shoves something in your face, you'll be able to immediately look at it and be like, oh no, that's no benefit to me. You want me to give you 45% administration fee for what?
Yeah.
For what? So yeah, I definitely would say cop the old one and the newest one, because basically you can take the knowledge from the contracts, because you still do sign those contracts, right? But you're gonna have a today's age to it, like, as far as the Distrokids, you're gonna have the digital aspect of that particular law that you're gonna accept too. So yeah, I'll definitely say cop both of them, And if my phone goes out, it's because I got 10% left, but for right now, we good.
Well, yeah, we probably, because I know we're trying to hold these things to like an hour, and we're already 28 minutes. But this has been a great conversation. So it's not even a big deal. And like always, like we got our supporters out here, man. The chat is going crazy. I think we should like go in the chat and check out read at least some of the questions that we have in here.
Let's definitely answer something with this 10% left, because I'm using I got an iPhone, and the plug is the damn charger thing too. Or I can just take it off, put it on speaker too, though. I thought about that. Hold on.
Yeah, I think someone was asking about the book itself, if it was a blue cover. Is that the one that you have?
Yes, sir. It's a blue cover. It's a blue cover with yellow lettering. Somebody found that motherfucker quick.
Now somebody asked Rojo, I think that's how you say it, Rojo. He said, "Is it true that if you don't collect them by 3 years that they disappear?" I'm
Royalties.
guessing he's talking about the royalties. Yeah, like if you get a payment or somebody like you got to collect on them within 3 years or they disappear. Is that true?
Some companies actually do that. If you don't pick up your royalties, they call it blacklisted. And what I mean by blacklist, not nothing negative. It just means that we had these royalties sitting there for 3 years, nobody collected them. They act the company that collected the royalty will just keep it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
go ahead, keep going.
So that's why it's good to have like different people collecting. Like I got Distrokid collecting my streaming royalties, but I also have Sound Exchange collecting my streaming royalties as well. But they're doing it all around the world. You see what I'm saying? And they pay quarterly while Distrokid pays monthly. So it's kind of like Sound Exchange is kind of watching Distrokid to make sure they don't try to fuck me over, because what's gonna happen if Sound Exchange send me a check and Distrokid don't? I'll be at Distrokid door like, hey, you motherfuckers owe me some money, you know? So
and I think it's good to know the difference between those and knowing that you should have all of them, because I believe Sound Exchange does something like what's called non-interactive radio versus what's known as interactive radio streaming. So
exactly.
it's like Pandora, where the user doesn't get to choose the song. So it's kind of like radio, but in the digital realm. So they're collecting for that as well.
Like they collect like it's like just like you said, Pandora's gonna play your track without anybody requesting it. So Sound Exchange will collect that royalty.
Okay. There's another great question in here. Like, because you talked about setting up a trust and how you're in control of it, but your nephew also owns it. So we got a question in the chat that says, can you take out money for yourself, and is there penalties? And is that in the book, the book blue, or the blue book, I guess? Like, so basically when you get the payment is yours. Like, but does that money have to go to the trust, or does that money come to you, and just the trust is just the entity of like the masters and all that stuff, like the legal property for the music that you made? How does that work?
The trust is something that I created, that I don't have to worry about anybody taking my music from me. Just like I said, I actually don't own my publishing, I don't own my writing, but I control it. Because I'm the controller of the trust, I still get those royalties. Okay. Remember? So my nephew is the beneficiary of the trust. That means when you try to come sue Damahneee, you're not getting a damn thing from me, because Damahneee don't own nothing.
So it's kind of like having the equivalent of having like a LLC in business, kind of like you're protected by the trust, kind of, because
you're signing yourself. So the trust is basically you're creating, in a sense, or that's going to be the entity that receives all the funds. And it's kind of like you're working for that trust. Okay. So I made a post the other day about, I own my companies and I only work for my companies. So basically I have a media and branding company. And now my wife and I, we have a real estate company. So I only work for my companies. Okay. I'm not going to let anybody else hire me. And it's the same type of thing with music, in a sense of like when you're creating work, those companies, anything that I put out are under that company's name. Okay. I mean, it's gonna be I Am Sight is the I guess you could say entertainer or the artist, but who signed me is my company. So I'm signed to a company which I own.
So I think the people are trying to figure out, though, how's that work with the payments, because obviously the money goes.
Are you talking about the trust?
Yeah. So the money goes to the trust. How's the money, like, how does that work? Like, do you have to pay yourself a percentage, or is there any rules to that?
Remember, I'm the creator of the trust, right? So when y'all saw me post that 20,000, I have options. I could take that 20,000 and put it inside the trust, and I still own it. It's still mine. But who's the beneficiary? Your nephew. So technically, by law, that's my nephew's 20,000. Technically, by law, my nephew owns the publishing. Technically, by law, my nephew owns all my writing. But remember, I'm the creator of this trust. I can demolish this trust today if I want to, because
you're the administrator of the trust too. I think that's a position when you start the trust. The administrator really has control.
You got 3 people in the trust. There's the creator, which is me. there's a trustee who's sort of like the administrator, because she's going to be the one that's going to disperse everything. But who is she dispersing everything to? My nephew. It's only one beneficiary. Now you can make your whole family the beneficiary. You can make the cat down the street walking down the block the beneficiary.
I hope nobody.
I say it like that to make it fit.
Well, I think at the end of the day, it is a more complicated subject, and I mean we could probably spend an hour or two just talking about trust. I mean that's something that it's a detailed legal thing, and you probably want to speak to somebody who knows. I mean, you want to learn about it as much as you can, but you probably want to consult somebody on a lawyer, or I think it would be like a financial planner would help set you up with a trust, right?
Well,
Dude,
or did you just do it yourself, Damahneee?
I'm gonna tell you what I did. Because I know trust law, I know that America can't touch a trust that was created outside of America. Y'all understand that? Once you get to, because this all the people that's getting ready to go hire a trust attorney, he's gonna tell you exactly what the fuck I'm telling you right now. Because my trust was created in Colombia, America has no jurisdiction over that. Now here's the funny part. You actually have to register your trust in America. And they got a 1-800 number for that. You call the number and tell them, hey, I created a trust outside of America in Colombia, and they're going to issue an EIN number, which starts with a 98. They're basically going to give you an EIN number that's tax-free, so you don't have to pay taxes on the trust because it wasn't created in America, right? So there's only going to be, to make this real simple for y'all, there's 3 people in this trust. Creator, me, I'm the one that created it. My trustee is a girl that stays out here in Colombia who's originally from Honduras. Who's the beneficiary? My nephew who stays in America. So you got to have 3 people that are not connected with each other, what makes your trust legal. Trust me, you can Google that and find that out, But the reason why I created my trust outside of America is because I didn't want America to have jurisdiction over my trust. Now you can create a trust in America, but America might still have jurisdiction in the trust, because when you go to get an EIN number for your trust, they might not issue you an EIN number that starts with 98. 98 is EIN is the employee identification number. If they issue you one of those and it doesn't start with 98, that means that America has jurisdiction over that particular trust. Which isn't that bad. It's just that I want to make myself harder to be sued by anybody in America. Right. So that's why when you try to come at Damahneee and my assets, all my assets are in the trust. What are my assets? My publishing, my music. You can put your drum machine in the trust. You can put that hat that you got on in the trust. You can put those microphones that y'all talking on in your trust, so nobody can touch it. And then when you die, you can say inside your trust, you can put in there, oh, I want my microphone to go to my grandmama. I want this hat to go to my uncle. I want my drum machine to go to my wife. All that could be inside the trust. Okay?
Absolutely. So it's like a vehicle to protect your assets, and it's really a pretty deep subject. You know what I mean? So
Rojo is up in here with the questions. I'm sorry,
that's all good. But I got to wrap it up, fellas. How I know everybody's probably trying to running up against it as far as time. We up at about like an hour and 40 minutes. I think y'all want to close with.
Well, we gotta first of all, we do since Damahneee is the guest of the show. Do you have anything you want to shout out? You have your website. What you have going on right now?
Definitely check out my website, y'all. It's www.damahneee.com. It's basically my name.com. But what I want to do, tell all the other producers, I don't do this to create haters. I do this to motivate y'all. I'm 47 years old and I'm just starting to make money off of it. Y'all see this gray hair? Okay, when somebody in the club and they dancing to your beat, they not sitting there saying, I wonder if this was made on the NPC. I wonder if this producer is 35 or 15 years old. A hot beat is a hot beat. Get it off your hard drive and publish it and cash out and get some money.
Big facts.
Up, man.
Yeah.
Now, just housekeeping with us. Like, first of all, I just want to thank the chat. The chat has been amazing. Everybody that follows us, we thank you guys for coming and joining us today. You know what I'm saying? And all the weeks that we've been doing this. Now, obviously, You know, we got Sight. He has his standalone soul. He got 2 parts out. Third part is probably be coming soon. If you guys want like a great sample pack, go check it out. You know what I'm saying? Go download it. IamSight.com, right?
Yes, sir. Or standalonesoul.com.
Yep. All the links will be in the description for this stuff. Like after the video, all the links will be in there. Lifted Noise has merch that you can also purchase. You know what I'm saying? If you guys want to support us, this is the best way to support us. And like we say every single week, we really appreciate you guys and what you do, because it wouldn't be possible for us to do this stuff if you guys didn't support us. And as we can see in the chat, man, you guys are in here deep rocking with us, man, from the gang and everywhere. So we really appreciate y'all.
Sight, I want to say thank you for giving us the NPC gang platform and me being able to express how I actually did this, because this is what brothers need to know. So I want to thank you for having that platform, because if you had that platform, I would have never posted, you know, what I made. So thank you, brother.
That's love, man. You know, and I appreciate it as well, man. It's one of those blessings that come about. You know, I'm learning. We're all learning here, and we appreciate the information. And I'm just grateful that, you know, the community really shows their interest in there, so we can do these type of things, man. So shout out to everybody who commented on the post and who was interested. We're doing this for y'all.
Yeah,
I'll go ahead.
Damahneee, I appreciate having this conversation with you, man. It's been eye-opening and actually very motivational, because, you know, like I said, I'm in that spot. A lot of us are. You know, it's a shame that a lot of stuff is just sitting there unfinished or unpublished. So, yeah, I'm gonna be working on getting some stuff out, because this has definitely inspired that. So yeah, come over to the channel too. I'm gonna, since we spoke about arranging and stuff, you know, I've been planning on doing something on that. So if you guys want some help or want to figure it out with me, I'm gonna be doing some arrangement videos like what we talked about with song mode and stuff. So yeah, man, much love, appreciate it, respect, and God bless. Thank you.
This is a podcast too. We want to remind everybody that if you guys can't catch the live show, if you're like riding in your car and stuff, and you guys want to re-listen to the podcast and everything, we're on like Apple Music. We're on a lot of Sight knows more about that.
Yeah, Apple Music, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. You can find us on there.
Yeah. So God bless everybody, man. Like, I think that's a wrap, man. This was really dope. Like, thank you, Damahneee, for being on here.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate the overtime today, man. We're gonna check back in with you on those NFTs, though, I promise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump out of here, man. We got my little man's birthday, so I'm gonna jump out of here. All right. Catch y'all on the next one.
All right.
Peace.
Peace out.